Kiper, welcome to the show. We will be there,
Nice
of
to be
course.
with
You are the
How you been?
I'm so good. You're the GOAT. I've never met you. You are a legend. Thank you for the time.
Anytime, Kay. Great to be with you.
What were you doing this morning? Eating pumpkin pie, my friend?
No, I haven't had any for a few months now. I was doing different podcasts and radio and all kinds of stuff. So in our first draft podcast with Field Yates, we did this morning as well. So it's one thing after another, Kay, and into Green Bay Wednesday morning.
Mel, can you believe this is your 42nd draft? When I say that, at least with ESPN, what comes into your head?
47 actually covering the draft, Kay. Can you believe that? 47 years of doing this, 42 now at ESPN. I said this morning to Dan Patrick, I said, Dan, remember 1984 was my first year, and I'm sitting with Boomer, Chris Berman, and Bob Lee, and I had Boomer Esiason as the third highest rated player, Kay, on my board. He was passed over 3 times. There you go. That's exactly the year. And he was passed over 3 times by the Bengals, and he was taken in the second round. Kay, I thought I was one and done. I mean, I got on that plane to come back to Baltimore and said, they're never going to have me back here. Yeah, Boomer drafted the second round. I had him third on my board. I'm one draft. I'm 23 years old. I'm done. And, fortunately, Boomer ended up having a heck of a career. Could have won a Super Bowl if it wasn't for Joe Montana and that great drive. So sometimes, quarterbacks do slide, Kay. That kind of is the theme of this draft with Shedeur Sanders. Where will he go? Does he slide? I said for months now, if you slide, it's not a bad thing. 6 of the 8 quarterbacks that slid since 1970 turned out to be pretty good.
It might not be a bad thing for Shedeur, but would it be a bad thing for teams that need quarterbacks? How big of a mistake would the Browns and the Giants make in taking amazing talents like Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter? But how big of a mistake would it be to pass on a quarterback at 2 and 3?
Well, time will tell us that, but I will say this. For people to say, and I've heard this over the weekend, well, if they like him, you take him at 3. If you like him, you don't take him at 3. Then you don't like him too much, you don't take him at all. Well, I remember not that long ago, people say, well, you're old, Kiper. It's 1984. Who cares, right? Do you care about when Lamar Jackson was drafted? It wasn't that long ago, Kay, when the Ravens took Hayden Hurst, a tight end out of South Carolina, not that long before they ended up trading back in to get Lamar Jackson. So could have had Lamar. They didn't have to try to make a trade. They didn't know if somebody else was going to trade back in. They took Hayden Hurst, and then they traded back in to get Lamar Jackson. So did they love Lamar? If they loved him, they would have taken him over Hayden Hurst, right? A tight end out of South Carolina at the time. So to me, if the Giants or somebody can do that, New Orleans, Cleveland can take the highest rated player, then get back into the first round and get Shedeur Sanders, that's a pretty good move. The Ravens, like I say, did it not that long ago with Lamar Jackson.
You've been high on Shedeur Sanders as a player. Of course, there's only so much you can control with fits and the sort of nuances that happen as far as this quarterback draft class is concerned. If he makes it past the Saints somehow, and I know you have him there, so do I. I'd love to see it. Speaking of Lamar Jackson, could have had him, didn't. Like, they could get their quarterback. If he does make it past the Saints, what kind of a slide are we talking about here?
Pittsburgh at 21, then the Rams, you say maybe not. So Pittsburgh's the key team, but they don't. And it's been suggested they may not. Then he gets kind of into that no man's land of the late first where teams aren't going to take a quarterback. Then, like Brett Favre, I had a super high grade on Brett Favre, and he dropped into the second round. Geno Smith was projected to go in the top 10, dropped to the second round. I mentioned Boomer Esiason. So Aaron Rodgers slid to 24. 3 weeks before that draft, we had him going number 1. This has happened before. But New Orleans, to your point, I remember the draft with Lamar, right? I'm sitting there and I'm saying, okay, they traded up. No, they're taking Lamar Jackson. They had to be trading up to take Lamar Jackson. They took Marcus Davenport, a tight end at Texas San Antonio. Okay, so again, there's that pick, and then the Ravens had to trade back in to get Lamar. Here we are with the Saints. Haven't taken a quarterback in the first round, Kay, in 54 years, okay, since 1970 when it was Archie Manning. So when you think about that, it makes perfect sense. Drew Brees came there because he had a great arm. He was off the shoulder, wins a Super Bowl, right, because of the dome. You have Shedeur Sanders, criticism, he doesn't have the rocket arm, the dome. It makes perfect sense for a new coach like Kellen Moore to take Shedeur Sanders, but the intel suggests, Kay, it's not going to happen. Will they trade back in and try to get him? I don't know. Jackson Dart's in that mix as well. It's going to be really fun and fascinating, and the mystery of this draft and the talk of this draft is, for obvious reasons, Shedeur Sanders.
Mel, where the heck does this energy come from? I've had 2 full-on coffees, and you are operating on some literal other.
I got bottled water. I got nothing but water.
Where does this come from? What fuels Mel Kiper? Is this like your factory setting? Talk to me.
Yeah, it really is because it's all different, all new every year, Kay. So next year's draft is going to be completely different. These are players who've been scouting for years, and you talk about them every day. And now we finally get Christmas morning, right? It's Christmas morning. Hopefully, we got a lot of intrigue. Nobody wants to know what you got the night before. So let's see what Santa brings. And I think that's the day when Santa Claus delivers all these great. That's why people hated me, Kay, back in the day, because I was kind of raining on their parade. I was saying, no, this guy's not as good. They want everybody to celebrate their picks. They want season ticket sales to go up. They want everybody to be calling and ordering their tickets. So it is a great day to celebrate the NFL and college football. And for me, what makes it so much fun is the mystery. We think we know, but we really don't know what's going to happen. And then the shockers, always happen. The surprises always happen. And let's tee it up and let's get it started on Thursday night.
You said in your mock draft that, or you didn't say, but I saw your mock draft. You said that you'd hold off on your quarterback moves for the Steelers until we know more about Rodgers. If we don't have a decision by draft day, which is hard to believe, I think everybody knows what's going on already. How would that change your outlook if there's no public decision on who the Steelers will draft? Still a D tackle?
I still think Derek Harmon makes sense. Cam Hayward is there to kind of mentor Derek Harmon or another defensive tackle, whoever they like. They have no second-round pick, sent that to Seattle for DK Metcalf. I just look at that division with Lamar and Burrow and the AFC, loaded with so many great quarterbacks, as you know. What are you going to do? Yeah, you can get to the playoffs. You lost 9 straight years in the playoffs. You've been 500 or better every year, basically, in the 20-plus years, but you got to be able to get more than just to the playoffs, win a playoff game, go beyond that. And it's all about quarterback. You can't be third, fourth in your division at quarterback and expect to have a fighting chance to go places. So to me, they got to figure out quarterback. And I understand Shedeur is there. It's going to be really interesting, Kay, because you don't want to let everybody know what you're thinking. You're 21. If teams say, oh, the Steelers are taking Shedeur, that's the point we have to get to. We got to get beyond Pittsburgh. We got to move ahead of Pittsburgh to get Shedeur. If they don't know and Pittsburgh's saying the word is they may not, then why tell? Nobody's going to tell anybody what they're doing, particularly at the most important position in all of sports is quarterback. So if you like a guy, don't mention it to anybody. Don't let anything out of your building. So we really don't know what Pittsburgh's going to do. I will say this. If they didn't take Shedeur and he were there, it would be a pretty big surprise if they passed on a quarterback or if they didn't get a quarterback. Remember, they have no 2. So they have to wait till the 3rd. Is Jalen Milroe going to be there? Is Jalen Milroe going to become a more accurate passer in the NFL to become a successful quarterback? We don't know that. So I think, again, it's so much intrigue and so much fun going into this draft that's why we're all excited and we're entertained and we're thrilled to be going to Green Bay in a few hours.
Do you think what do you think about Green Bay as a host city? In your 47 years, 42 at ESPN, you've never done a draft in Green Bay.
No, it's a bucket list for me. I've been to Madison, to the University of Wisconsin for college game day.
Never been to Green Bay.
Never been to Green Bay, never been to Lambeau. It's going to be fun. And again, all the years, Nashville was great, but this is going to be special. Next year in Pittsburgh is going to be great as well, Kay. I think Roger Goodell was a stroke of genius taking this on the road. It really was. New York was great. You had fans from all over coming in New York, but to go to these venues where you got 1 million people there, it's like New Year's Eve at Times Square. It's pretty amazing, Kay, to see the fans standing in line. Like I always tell people, the one thing I was right about, 2 things. I married Kim Kiper back there, and also happy birthday. Her birthday's coming up as well. But the draft, to be able to bet on that, to really figure, okay, people are going to love this. When everybody said, why are you watching it? Why do you care? To see it become what it is, this huge extravaganza, is pretty amazing.
So I've read a lot about your wife and about the role she plays in making